Good evening, everyone. I am CA Sagar Parmar, moderator for this webinar. We are delighted to welcome you all in the webinar being organized by Continuing Professional Education Committee of ICAI. It is my pleasure to be a moderator for the webinar on GST appeals and ethical issues pertaining to bank audit. In a short while, we will start this webinar. First, I would like to appraise you about CPE committee. The role of chartered accountant is evolving continuously to accept newer responsibilities in a dynamic global environment. The future of CA profession depends on being flexible and open to innovation. Therefore, the need of the hour is to innovate as per the requisites of contemporary business environment and accordingly upgrade the curriculum and education system of chartered accountancy course. The committee also believes that members of ICAI should look beyond the traditional areas of practice and seek and explore new areas of business and profession. And hence, the CP committee is mentoring members by providing guidance through various workshops, seminars, national conferences, background materials, etc. And simultaneously, by encouraging young and dynamic professionals grow as a speaker and a master of ceremonies, etc. in CPE programs. The program for this evening is as follows. We have two sessions of 1 hour each, and the topics are appeals under GST and ethical issues pertaining to bank audit. Our eminent speakers will talk about above mentioned two emerging areas of professional interest. Now, I would love to invite the person who gave me this opportunity to become a moderator for today's webinar and most hardworking CCM or a CA or a person I know, again, who doesn't need any kind of introduction, CA Purushottam Khandilwal sir. He is a chairman of CPE committee and a conveyor of RBA Directorate of ICAI. He is having more than 25 years of post-qualification experience in the field of audit, direct and indirect tax, and intellectual property rights. This year, he is devoted to fortifying CPE framework and guaranteeing quality across its entire operational spectrum. And this year, major focus would be on upgrading CPE portal for enhancement of branding and professional competencies of members. It brings me immense delight to extend an invitation to Chairman CA Purushottam Khandelwal sir to deliver his welcome address. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, respected faculty for the first technical session, past chairman and my dear friend Bishan Bhai Shah, second faculty Jagjeet Singh Ji, again moderator and my dear friend Sagar Parmar from Gandhinagar, secretary of the CPE committee Ajit Naji Tiwari, and respected member. It gives me immense pleasure to address all of you. CPE committee is a mother of all committee. The main object of CPE committee to upgrade the knowledge of the members, those who are providing a professional services to the client. And my committee is dedicated to organize conference, seminar, workshop across the India. Sometimes we are organizing residential refresh course in a different environment. ICI is celebrating a 75th year of inception. And this year, we line up a various project program which will be conducted by the 175 branch of the ICI. Before a few days, myself with the president of ICI, Ranjit Kumar Ji Agrawal, and immediate past president of ICI, C. Aniket Talati Ji, we made the chairman of the IFSCA, Raja Ramanna Ji at GIFT City, Gandhinagar. The IFSCA constituted one committee on expert advisory for development of GIFT City, which is headed by the president of ICI under the leadership of Ranjit Bhai. We submit a detailed report to the chairman of IFSCA what ICI can do for the development of dream project of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. The dream of Narendra Modi ji is to make a GIFT City just like Hong Kong, Singapore, and London. Majority of the financial transactions take place in the Singapore, Hong Kong, London, Dubai. Majority of the surplus fund of the one country, how can it analyze for the business development for other countries? So there is an ample scope for all the members, those who are listening me, please come and visit a gift city at Gandhinagar. Another, this year, a president sir had made another committee, AI in ICI, Artificial Intelligence Committee in ICI, which will make a comfort life for the members, those who are doing the practice. Suppose you want to draft a appeal, the first technical session of appeal in GST, vision by the ICI is coming with the tools, just like a chat GPT. The life of member will be easy. If you want to draft the appeal and you are giving fact to the computer, they will draft appeal for you, quoting all the judgment, all the section, all the jurisdiction. So it makes your life easy. Also, we are coming with the tools for the student. Currently, we are having a 8.5 lakh student. How we can improve the education quality for the student? We come with new education policy. Correct? AI will certainly help the student. Suppose a one question asked in many exam, you will immediately find what is the trend of exam, what type of question being asked in the examination. So student will be certainly benefited. So our institute is working very hard, 24/7. Our president sir and immediate past president and past president sir was guided all the council member how we can do best to the members and students. I will not take much of your time. Business sir is here. They will guide you how to draft the appeal. Then second session will be taken by Jagji Singh ji. Ethics in bank audit, because all the members are hurry in completing the bank audit. So Jagdish Singh ji will say you there is some responsibility and ethical responsibility of members to conducting a bank branch audit. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We express our sincere appreciation, sir, for your words that have so much of inspiration, and your insightful address sets a perfect tone for today. Now, allow me to introduce our first session faculty, CA Mission Shah, sir. He has more than 25 years of experience in the field of indirect taxation with specific emphasis on GST. He was the past chairman of ICAI Ahmedabad branch and currently working as a member of GST Grievances Redressal Committee of GST Council for the state of Gujarat. He has delivered multiple lectures across India and appearing regularly before honorable tribunals of customs, excise, and service tax. Please join me in welcoming our first eminent faculty to commence their session with their insightful deliberations on appeal under GST.
Thank you, Sagar Bhai. It's my pleasure and I can say privilege that CP committee under the visionary leadership of our own Central Council member from Ahmedabad, Purushottam Bhai Khandelwal, has given me this opportunity. And sir, one thing is for sure, under your leadership, we are, moving ahead. As you have said that Chat GPT is drafting letter for us, and now you are making one tool where it will be helpful to all the members to draft an appeal with, I can say, proper English, with quoting proper laws, and with a great presentations. As in income tax, we are having a self faceless assessment, and at that point of time, we need to give a great drafts. So I'm pretty sure that these tools, sir, under your leadership, will be of great help to the members at large. And as you are constantly working for the members. I am sure that in future as well, you will give us gift of such type of tools, software, for so we can work seamlessly and with the perfection and making the India 5 trillion economy, and we are a great part so far as the nation building is concerned. Once again, sir, I am thankful to you. I am thankful to CP committee and Vice Chairman Mishra, sir, also. Thank you, my co-speaker, Jagjit Singh ji, and Sagar Parmar from Gandhinagar for uh, taking this session on right track, I can say. So thank you very much once again. Let me acknowledge that these presentation which I have prepared, for that I am thankful to honorable judges of various courts, departmental officers who has given us this opportunity to draft the appeal, because otherwise it's not possible for us to draft the appeal and learn this topic as well. My clients who has given me an opportunity to draft the appeal, and all CA friends, advocates, and my family members who helped me in taking this subject in detail. Of course, I acknowledge the CP committee, ICI, for giving me this opportunity. Now, first disclaimer, because when you are with the client, first thing of any order, we need to say him that these are the permutations, combinations, or things available to you. If you want to file an appeal before or against these order, then you can go ahead, you can take our assistance. So same way, before starting this deliberation, I would like to say that views in these presentations are my personal view. If there is an amendment or judicial pronouncement, presentation should be suitably amended. Neither institute nor presenter liable for any contents or views. And when we are in this virtual meetings, virtual hearings are there in Ahmedabad, Commissioner Appeals are giving us only virtual hearings. For that, we need to give our online consent, a letter of authority, and personal hearing note sheet will come to you on email. You need to see it. If you want to make any change, you may make any change, and then you have to again send it back on through email to the appellate authority. And since we are in this virtual world, I would like to suggest that we need to properly dress at the time of personal hearings or appearing before any authority, because what High Court of Rajasthan commented while granting bail to an advocate in virtual hearing was not properly dressed. So we never know how technology will function. You may aware that camera is not on or microphone is not on. You have to take proper care while appearing virtually before any authority. Now, when we are talking about appeal under GST, we must know that what are the constitutional right. Though there is a specific law of CGST Act, SGST Act, IGST Act, but beyond that, there is a Indian Constitution as well. And we need to know that under Article 19, 1G, it gives us a right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade, or business. So, if we are doing any business or a profession, then it's our constitutional right. And if the same is being violated, then you can definitely take that ground as well, that your constitutional right is affected with the decision of any authority. Say, for example, if your number is cancelled, GST registration has been cancelled, then you are not able to do the business. And since you are not able to do the business, we can definitely say that my constitutional right is being affected, and that ground we can definitely take in filing or drafting an appeal. What the concept of appeal says about or talk about? It says that it reconsiders the decision. If we see that in appeal, it is a proceeding where an higher forum or a higher authority is giving a decision of the lower authority, whether he has passed an order so far as the facts are concerned or so far as the question of law is concerned. And on that basis, appellate authority gives fresh decision or direction to the lower authority. And we all are aware that the difference, what is the difference between an appeal and a revision? When we are making an appeal, then it is against the order of the lower authority. And appellate authority will reconsider whole decision and give their verdict. So both the expressions appeal and revision are employed in the statute. The later expression in GST, we are having appeal as well as revisionary powers. And when it is employed in the statute, the later expression is meant to convey the idea of a much narrower jurisdiction than that conveyed by the higher forum, that is by the forum and against whom a revisional order has been passed. Whereas appeal is at much bigger area, what I can say is covering. While drafting an appeal, Sir Dictum's dictum of Sir James Fitzum Stephen says that in drafting, it is not important that a precision should be there where a person reading in good faith should understand. But you draft appeal in such a manner that a person in bad faith cannot misunderstood this. While drafting an appeal, you need to read the order which has been passed by lower authority, and wherever you think that the contentions which has been raised in the order are required to be rejected or you are not agreeing to it, you need to specifically mention that those facts which has been mentioned by lower authority in their order, you are not agreeing to it, and why you are not agreeing to those contentions which has been raised by the lower authority in the order. So first of all, you need to read this order against which you are filing an appeal, and what are the contentions on which you want to reject on facts as well as law. What is the right to appeal? Yes, right to appeal is a substantive right of any taxpayer, and Honorable Supreme Court in Asoka Engineering Company held that it is true that there is no inherent right of appeal to any assessee, and that it has to be spelt from the words of the statute. So in our statute, the right of appeal is there, and it is a will of taxpayer whether he wants to file an appeal against the order passed by a lower authority. As per section 107, appeal to be filed to the first appellate authority, and first appellate authority is Commissioner Appeals or Joint Commissioner, as the case may be. We will see to it in more slides to come. Now, the question is, who can file an appeal? A person who is aggrieved by the order of any authority can file an appeal. Against what he can file an appeal? Any decision or order passed by adjudicating authority. We need to know in how much time appeal can be filed and before whom. That is also we'll see in our next slides. So section 107 to the CGST Act says that appeal to appellate authority. And who can file an appeal? Any person aggrieved by any decision or order passed under this act or the SGST or UTGST by an adjudicating authority and may file an appeal before the appellate authority as prescribed. Person that has been defined under section 2 subsection 84, it includes any individual, HUF, firm, company, LLPs, and association of person, body of individuals, blah blah blah. We can refer to these sections. So now when it says that any person can file an appeal, meaning thereby a person should be registered to file an appeal or no? The answer is no, the person should. It might possible person is not registered. So by order of authority, if any person who is aggrieved upon, say his liability of output tax has been increased, or his refund is decreased, or his input tax credit is denied, then in that case, or registration has been cancelled. So we can say that he is aggrieved party and he can file an appeal before the authority. So for that, what you need? You need an order or decision for filing an appeal. And as Honorable Supreme Court held that an internal order is a not decision or a determination and hence cannot be appealed against. Say your appeals are being transferred from one commissionerate to other commissionerate, then it's internal orders, and commissioner appeals are being transferred, then those are the internal orders on which we can not file an appeal. But where an order or decision refers to any communication which affects the right and liability of any person and issued by the department, then in that case, on that order, you can file an appeal. Is a letter an order? The answer is depending if on the decision or the order or a direction mentioned in the letter, if it is affecting your right or liabilities, then yes, it's a order and you can file an appeal before for appellate authority against that order. And I have one more question, that can an appeal be filed only against a speaking order? No, appeal may be filed against any order. That is what section 107 subsection 1 talks about. An illustrative list of orders under GST we have discussed. So the questions are the following orders? And if the notice is summons, we can say, or audit memos, are they orders against which can you file an appeal? The answer is no. They are not affecting your right or increasing any liabilities, and hence they are not orders, and there is no need to file an appeal against those notices, summons, or audit memos. Now, as we have discussed that you need to file an appeal of the order passed by an adjudicating authority. Adjudicating authorities are defined in subsection 2, subsection 4, and CBIC, Revisional Authority, AAR, AAR, and AAR, those are appellate tribunal or appellate authority, or NAA, those are not adjudicating authority. And you are not required to file an appeal before the first appellate authority for the orders or decision passed by these authorities. Now, the question is, in how much time you are required to file an appeal? Within 3 months from the date on which the said decision or order is communicated to such persons. So, meaning thereby, communication of the order to the aggrieved person is much of importance. We need to see how the communication is taking place or serving of order is taking place, and from receipt of that date to 3 months we can file an appeal. Now, date of communication. In GST law, there is a separate sections which talk about a communication of any mode under section 169 of CGST Act. It talks about physical delivery. So when you are receiving any order, notice from the authority on a with a physical delivery by giving or tendering it, or directly or by a messenger including a courier. Then the dispatch delivery by a registered post or speed post or courier with acknowledgement due. Then another mode is electronic medium by sending a communication to his registered email ID, which is in the portal, and through a media publication. So, in a broader term, we can say either a physical dispatch or a delivery of the order, or through registered post, or through electronic medium, or if it is not possible to serve the order on above 3 modes, then through media by publishing it, or even in the notice board as well. Now we will see if these modes are not practicable, then what I have said is department can affix these order notice at the prominent place of business premises or residence. And if it is not practicable, then also they can affix a copy at the notice board of the office of the concerned officer or authority who or which has passed this decision or order or any notice or summons. So there are 4 modes. We can say first physical delivery, second post or register AD or speed post, third electronic media, which includes email and your portal as well. If it is not possible, then they can paste it on the registered address, or they can give the notice in media. If all these 4 things are not possible, then the department can go and paste it. Either first they try to put on resident address or business address of the person. If it is not possible, then the notice board in the office of jurisdictional officer. So if it is sent by a registered post or a speed post, there is a deeming provision that it shall be deemed to have been received at the expiry of the period normally taken by such post in transit. So there is a deeming fiction so far as the registered post or speed post is concerned, that if department has delivered it through registered post, then on say 1st of April they have make a registered post, then reasonable time, say it is within 3 days, it should be received by the registered person, then in or a person agreed by that order, then it will be presumed that on 4th of April the order is received by that person or a aggrieved person of that order. But if contrary is proved by the person, then receipt cannot be considered so far as the deeming provision is concerned. Say, if you have actually received this registered AD post on 7th of April, then you need to preserve that acknowledgement that is evidencing the registered post is received by you on 7th of April. So if the time taken by post is more than what is a reasonable estimated time, then in that case, we need to preserve that proof of delivery, say envelope or any that receipt, and with the order as well to prove your bona fide. And what is the effect of this deeming fiction? The word deemed used in the section would thus mean suppose or consider. It is considered. So when something has been presumed, nothing contrary to the same is come on the face, then that deeming fiction will prevail. But if we have we are able to prove that you have received this order after say 1 week or 1 month, then you need to prove it contrary to what is presumed or deemed. Date of receipt of notice for a time period. In this classic case, even Rajasthan High Court says that though the order of the adjudicating authority was dated 27th August, he was communicated the same after a phone call for demand through a certified copy. So on 10th of May 2019. And in that case, court held that the order is received by the person on 10th of May, though the adjudicating authority has made an order on 27th of August. In many cases, it happens that the taxpayer never receives the order physically, or it has been mailed through electronic media, and the date for filing an appeal is then at that time due date is gone. So what to do at that time? We are required to file a letter when you received a recovery call from the adjudicating authority or from the authority of the recovery. Then at that time you need to file a letter or a communication that you have not received this letter, this order, and a certified copy of the order may be given to you to take further action against the order passed by the authorities. And if you get the order certified copy from officer at that time, we can definitely say that you have received the order after the recovery phone call or intimation has been given to you. And so your time barring so far as the filing and appeal is concerned will not be affected. And If you prove that you have not received it, you can definitely file an appeal when you received after the phone call. Now, before whom you need to file an appeal? Appellate authority is been defined and means an authority appointed or authorized to hear appeals as referred to in section 107. So subsection 8 of section 2 talks about before whom we need to file an appeal. Now, before that, there is a judgment, recent judgment of Madras High Court in Shakti Steel. It says that if notice sent by email is not responded, it would be obligatory to send one more notice by other means of service of notice. As SSE did not respond to notice of penalty sent by mail because he didn't check the email. It might possible that small and medium enterprises who are a taxpayer and dealing with their businesses, they are not having specific department who is handling their emails. And while passing this order, Madras High Court was kind enough to understand the situations of the businesses, and they said that if notice served through email and taxpayer is not able to respond on the same, then in that scenario, department should be kind enough to give another means, notice through another means. So, taxpayer can be easily take benefit of their appeal right. Same was decided by Madras High Court in Pushpam Realities judgment. They held that with the technical problem on the web portal, they are also aware that there are certain issues so far as the technology is concerned, and they directed revenue that they should continue to send notices through registered post or speed post or courier with acknowledgement to the petitioner at their last known place of business or residence and upload the same on the web portal. So these both the judgments are beneficial judgments to the taxpayers, where even department is just serving the notice either on email or serving the order on email or on the portal itself. So these two judgments should be there where you are filing appeal which is otherwise time barred, but due to the fact that you have not received this through email or on a web portal, if you have the taxpayer has not checked, then we can definitely take benefit of these judgments, and we can submit the same that date of receipt of the order should be considered only when it has been actually received by the taxpayer. Now the question was against whom you should file an appeal. So for the CGST acts are concerned, CGST Act is concerned, and SGST Act is concerned, the appellate authorities are different. So if the order is passed by additional commissioner, then in CGST, it will be appeal is required to be filed before Honorable Commissioner Appeals. If the order is of joint commissioner, so far as the SGST is concerned, there is no additional commissioners, but it starts from joint commissioners. And if it is passed by joint commissioner, then in central, the appeal has to be filed before Honorable Commissioner. So far as the state is concerned, it has to be filed before Honorable Additional Commissioner. So far as the order of Deputy Commissioner is concerned, then the same, so far as the CGST is concerned, has to be filed before joint officer not below rank of joint commissioner, and so far as the SGST is concerned, it should be filed before Honorable Joint Commissioner Appeals. The order of Assistant Commissioner is concerned, then in that case, so far as the CGST is concerned, order is required to pass, appeal is required to be filed before Honorable Officer not below rank of Joint Commissioner Appeals. And so far as the SGST is concerned, it should be before Honorable Deputy Commissioner appeals. Now, under subsection 2 of section 107, department can also file an appeal, and it has to be on the motion of a commissioner or on his own motion or upon request from the commissioner of the state. Say the order is passed by adjudicating authority CGST, then in that case even commissioner of state can also direct commissioner of CGST to file an appeal against that order. So same rights are given to the department as well to file an appeal before against the order passed by any adjudicating authority. And commissioner is defined under subsection 24 of section 2. What are the forms to be filed? So every appeal under this section shall be in the prescribed form and shall be verified in the prescribed manner. That is what subsection 5 of section 107 talks about. It is in for an appeal by SSE, it has to be filed in APL 01 read with rule 108. Acknowledgement will be generated in APL 02. So far as departmental appeal is concerned, it has to be filed under APL 03 and it will be governed by rule 109 of CGST rules. So procedure for filing an appeal under rule 108 APL, you need to file in APL 01 along with all documents either electronically or otherwise. If the order is electronically, then yes, we need to file it on the portal and provisional acknowledgement will be generated. Also, you need to file grounds of appeal along with your appeal memo, and verification has to be done. That has to be signed by the aggrieved person. You need to file certified copy physically as well within 7 days. So of filing an appeal on the portal. So once you file, say on 1st of April an appeal on portal, then within 7 days you need to file certified copy of the order in a physical form. And if you file it within 7 days, then the date of filing will be considered as a 1st April. But if you file it after say 10 days, then date of filing an appeal will be considered as 10th of April. So after you file certified copy, a final acknowledgement indicating appeal number will be issued to you. We have discussed this. Orissa High Court says that if someone has not filed physically, then it's a procedural error and the same should be condoned, and appeal should be considered as filed. Maybe after due date the appeal certified copy has been filed, and if department considered it as that date which is time barred, then department cannot reject the appeal. Odisha High Court's this judgment is beneficial judgment for all the taxpayer as well, as we are living in AI and technology driven India. I guess it's a correct judgment which Honorable Odisha High Court has given. The same departmental application, they are also required to be filed the same. Delay in filing an appeal can be condoned for another 1 month, and since it is expressly mentioned in the law that there will be 1 month available to the taxpayer, commissioner appeal cannot condone delay more than 1 month when it is mentioned in the statute itself, and that is what Honorable Supreme Court in Om Prakash versus Ashwini Kumar held, that when it is mentioned in expressly in the statute, then in that case that delay time will only allowable. Beyond that, Commissioner Appeal cannot condone delay. If you are saying that there is a delay, then it has to be backed by sufficient cause, and sufficient cause has to be evidence with, say, affidavit or medical certificate. Then and then only you can substantiate, and Commissioner Appeal can condone your delay on the basis of sufficient cause. These are the judgments which are useful. I can say that if you go through with this presentation, but in such scenarios, it will be helpful to you. But due to paucity of time, I am not going through in detail, as I need to take 2-3 most important slides. So I am taking to you directly to those slides as well. Pre-deposit, yes, it is a mandatory. There is a mandatory pre-deposit of 10%, so far as GST is concerned, and 10% as per CGST is concerned, but maximum 25 crores for under both the act. And recovery is deemed to be state, that is what subsection 7 or of section 107 talks about. Payment of excise and service tax, pre-deposit, yes, it is possible. That is what they have said. But now they have opened one separate portal of ACIS, and there you can make a pre-deposit so far as the erstwhile law is concerned. Now, so far as adjournments are concerned, section 107 subsection 9 gives us 3 adjournments. Maximum 3 adjournments are available to each party. So if in any appeal there are more than 2 parties, one is the taxpayer, second is the department, and we can say that 6 adjournments are possible. If there are taxpayers more than one, then department should give us that much adjournment. Say 2 parties are 2 taxpayers plus department, then 9 adjournments is possible. That is what we have discussed. Now subsection 8 talks about most important, that opportunity of being heard should be given to the taxpayer. If the same has not been given, then that order will not sustain on higher forum. So expressly subsection 8 says that opportunity of the being heard should be given. The judgment of Honorable Sisted Ahmedabad is also talking about the same, and this judgment is for the 3 hearing, but in hearing as well they need to give us a 3 hearing. That is what in Regent Overseas versus Union of India, Gujarat High Court also of the same view. Now opportunity of being heard, that is 3 opportunities, and hearing should be fair and reasonable. Say if some adjudicating or appellate authority, while hearing your case, playing something or is not there, and they just give us instruction that you please write down in note sheet, and some other officer is just taking the personal hearing, then we can say that it is not a fair and reasonable hearing. So during the personal hearing of the show cause notice, if you have not been heard properly, then that can be your ground of appeal, that fair and reasonable hearing has not been given. The principle of audi altram partem is of much importance. If the hearing is not given to you, then you can say that order is has been passed without giving personal hearing, and it is breaching the principle of audi altram partem, and as a reasonable opportunity is not given, it is a ground of appeal, and on that basis also higher authority can drop the show cause notice or drop the order as well. And in any show cause notice, it is a foundation as decided by Honorable Supreme Court in Brindavan Beverages or even Audit Sugar, that it is a foundation of framing any charge on any taxpayer. So if something has been mentioned in show cause notice is without basis, then you can say that this show cause notice is not valid show cause notice, even if your order which has been passed is not on the basis of show cause notice. Let's say demand has been raised or confirmed due to show cause notice, and in show cause notice there is a point of ITC, whereas in order they are coming with demand of ITC as well as reconciliation of output tax liability. Then in that case, you can say that order is traveling beyond the show cause notice, and that it should be your ground as well so far as the appeal is concerned. Even what I have said in all sugar mills case, Supreme Court says that show cause notice cannot be issued on the assumptions and presumptions. We are seeing that by usage of technology, department is issuing show cause notice only on the difference between say 26 AS and GSTR 3B. So they are just presuming that there is a difference. So before giving an opportunity, before investigation, if such show cause notices are being issued, then on one of the ground should be that the show cause notice or order is issued on basis of presumptions and assumptions without proper investigation, and is required to be dropped on the basis of principles laid down by Honorable Supreme Court. Is oral show cause notices valid? Yes, oral show cause notice are valid, but so far as the act are concerned, we can say that expressly it has been mentioned in the act, and hence show cause notice should be issued in DRC 01 with summary, and hence so far as the GST law is concerned, these show cause notices are not valid show cause notice. Principle of audi altram partem is applicable everywhere so far as the show cause notice is concerned, and its hearing and hearing by the appellate authority. These are the classic case so far as the principle of audi partem is concerned. If there is a transfer of appeal, appellate authority, then yes, hearing has to be given to you by another authority, and three adjournments again are required to be considered if there is a transfer of authority. Additional grounds you can take with the permission of the appellate authority. Say if you have filed an appeal and you have taken three grounds, you need to, if you another request to the appellate authority, and they can, if they agreed, then they can allow that ground as well. So far as the additional facts are concerned, there is no need to take any permission or request. Facts are facts, and for that no separate permission are required from appellate authority. There is no power of remand so far as the appellate authorities are concerned, but so far as the facts are concerned of any order, they can remand. In erstwhile law, there was same provision, but appellate authority were remanding the cases. Order has to be in writing and with the reason. Under what circumstances, with reason, and under what proof they are issuing the order, that should be specifically mentioned. These appellate authority is a quasi-judicial authority. They should not act prejudiciously in the interest of revenue or in the interest of SSE. They have to give their verdict neutrally. Those are the classic judgments of Honorable Supreme Court, and they need to apply the mind. So what if AI, through AI, if something has been with the artificial intelligence, if the show cause notices are issued, order are being passed, then we can definitely take this ground as well, that the mind has not been applied by the authority, and hence the order or a show cause notice is required to be dropped or rejected. With issuing any order, the proper reasons has to be given by the officer. Order is required to be passed within 1 year. That is what a law has mandated under subsection 13 of section 107, and it is a classic case of Sundar system of Delhi High Court, and they said that order is required to be adjudicated within the time limit, and if it is not adjudicated within the time limit or pass, then definitely it is required to be struck down. So you can also take these ground as well. So far as the communication is concerned, it has to be made to appellant, respondent, adjudicating authority, jurisdictional commissioner of state, and center as well. What is the reason to communicating these orders to others? Because it is a dual GST. What we can say, both the authorities are having power to tax the same transaction, and finality of the order will be only when the one appeal against the said order is not passed under not file appeal against those order under section 108 or 113 to High Court, Tribunal, or Supreme Court. These are the orders which are not appealable. An order of the commissioner or authority empowered to direct transfer or proceedings of appeal to another one, or order pertaining to the seizure or retention of the books of account, an order sanctioning or of a prosecution, an order passed under section 80, payment of tax under installment. So in these four situations, or appeal cannot be passed. Order of seizure of books of accounts. This seizure can be held under section 67 subsection 2, and it authorizes officers to return the same within 30 days of the passing of the notice. So if it is not done, then definitely we can have to go to the department and need to ask them to return back the documents. The restriction on right to appeal is strictly construed when it is mentioned that those are the four conditions against which the order is not appealable. We can't file an appeal against those four conditions. If death of the proprietor, what are the fate of the proceedings? So if you have filed an appeal and the proprietor is no more, then in that case appeal is abated. That is what decided by Honorable Supreme Court in Shabina Abraham's case. And on additional ground of appeals, we have discussed appeal not to be filed in certain circumstances. That is also we have discussed. Yes, be withdrawn by taxpayer at any point of time. Now, the last slide, and which I want to discuss. Jagjit sir, please allow me 2 to 3 minutes more. So, grounds of appeal, we know that on merits, we are filing an appeal. Say, department said in their order that you are not allowed for input tax credit as it is block credit under section 17 subsection 5. So those are the merits. But you have used those credit for say repairing, and you are going to write, I am aware that we all are now masters of GST law, but we need to apply these other grounds as well. On the merits, you have mentioned that 17.5 block credit is not applicable, but you also need to write that yes, what are the grounds so far as the constitution is concerned. Say if they are canceling your registration, so it is depriving your right to do the business. And say equality, if in some other cases they have allowed to someone those type of input tax credit, we can definitely take the ground that decision is unconstitutional. Second thing, if it is a time bar, say the notice is issued so far as the section 73 is concerned under normal period, and that period is over, and though they have passed you the show cause notice or order is not passed within 1 year, then also you can say that the proceedings are time barred. If order is without any reason, then also you can take that ground that it is a non-speaking order, it is not giving any reason. When orders are passed through AI or without application of any mind, say only on the copy paste basis, we seen such type of circumstances that since the due date for passing an order or a show cause notice is nearer, department is just copy pasting the show cause notice. So in that case, we should say that those notices or order are issued without application of mind. If the opportunity of being heard is not given to you, then also you need to write that ground, and whatever I have shared, you can research more on it, dig into it, and you can make more elaborated ground of appeal on that basis as well. If there is a breach of principle of audi alteram partem, then also you can develop that ground. And so far as the show cause notice is concerned, if it is on the presumption or assumption, and OIO is traveling beyond the show cause notice, that can also be your ground. If authority has acted as prejudicial mind and not acted as a quasi judicial authority, then you can also take that ground. Even if it is not of that jurisdiction, you need to see that the order passed by the authority is having jurisdiction or not, then also that can be your ground. And points which are required to be considered, that so far as the drafting of appeal is concerned, that each fact to be narrated properly, allegations of the show cause notice and OIO on which you want to contest them, you need to contest it on a pairwise. Grounds of appeal should be drafting along with drafted along with the summary. So on the first page, you may in summary you can write the grounds A, B, C, D, E, and then after you elaborate them in next pages, and you need to make a proper list or a table of event that when the show cause notice was issued, when you have received, when OIO was issued, and when you have received, and all your grounds to be supported by the law and judicial pronouncement or judgments. Yes, we need to see that the head notes which are mentioned are not maybe head notes are beneficial to you, but the judgment is not even applicable to you. So please, before quoting any judgment, just read it properly, and then you can draft your appeal. Points of before appearing: yes, you need to be a confident, well dressed, and polite. If say appellate authority ask you something, you should not annoyed, and your pitch should be much polite. You need to prepare your synopsis and then you deliver your hearing. And if authority asks something which you are not aware, then please request them that you will provide it in additional submission. That benefit is available to you. Make sure that you give your additional submissions after the personal hearing to the authority. This case study we have discussed, these are the form of appeal. And as Mahatma Gandhi says, facts means truth. And once we adhere to the truth, the law comes to our aid naturally. With these words, I conclude my deliberation. Sorry, Jagjit sir, for taking your 6 minutes. Thank you very much, Sagar bhai, and thank you all the participants for your hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your great presentation and session. Just allow me to take 2 or 3 more minutes so that we can take a few questions from our attendees. Okay, we will not take much of questions, but some of the questions. First of all, they have requested to make this presentation. They just wanted this presentation. So we'll be doing that. And the one question is, if appeal is filed after 120 days, along with requesting to condone the delay, is first appellate authority can register the appeal?
No, as I have said that in law specifically it has been mentioned that 3 months plus 1 month. So appellate authority cannot condone your delay in these circumstances.
Okay, fine. Second question was, if I file an appeal, can I file rectification application before or after appeal or vice versa?
So rectification of the original order, that is what the question is. Yes, I can, under my view, we did the same. If there is an order under which there is a rectification required, then I have filed the same. And simultaneously, because if a rectification is not done by the adjudicating authority, then you will deprive your right of appeal as well. So simultaneously you should do.
And the extending question for that is if I file rectification but do not file appeal, say within 2 months from the date of order, DRC 7, and my rectification application got rejected after 4 months from the date of order, can I file appeal with in the remaining 1 month? That is 3 minus 2. They have mentioned it. Please quote the section and rules of CGST.
So according to me, I have not come across this situation. So if the time limit has been passed, then it will be difficult. And I am not aware of any such case laws as well.
Okay. Uh, that is it, sir. Thank you very much, Vishan sir, for your enlightening presentation and for sharing your expertise with us today. We greatly appreciate your time and dedication for contributing this webinar.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to invite the Vice Chairman of CPA Committee, CA Gnan Chandra Misra sir. CA Gnan Chandra Misra sir is a Vice Chairman of CPA Committee and Chairman for the Committee on Insolvency and Bankruptcy of ICAI. Presently, he is serving the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India as a Central Council member, and he has more than 24 years of professional standing to his credit as an established chartered accountant. Under his vision, this year, CP committee taking new initiatives for the members. It is with great pleasure I invite the Vice Chairman CA Gnan Chandra sir for his welcome address.
So much thank you, CA Sagar Parmar ji, moderator of the program. The first session speaker, CA Bishan Shah ji from Ahmedabad. The speaker for the second session, Jagjit Singh Jaks ji, who shall be deliberating on ethical issues on bank audit. And of course, Bishan ji has just spoken regarding the appeals under GST. and of course the Secretary of the Committee, Ajit Nath Tiwari ji, and all respected participants. Good afternoon to one and all. Friends, we are really delighted to welcome you all in this again series of every learning session on every Wednesday. So timing though has been changed from 3 to 5 to 4 to 6. And I'm sure that the learning is going well as the speakers from various topics who are very prominent in their field are being requested to kindly guide to all the members and participants who attend the webinars from the nooks and corners of the country. Friends, we all know that bank audit time is on, and all the chartered accountant practitioners who have got the bank audit, they are underway to initiate the audit. And of course, I'm sure that a lot of updations we have given from CPE committee that might have been attended. And today, with respect to the ethical issues in bank audit and documentation part, that is to be delivered by Jagjit Singh ji, who is very expert in auditing segment especially. So friends, I'll not take much time. I wish a very happy learning to each and everyone. Just one request, that please devote much more time in the bank audit and try to justify yourself that whatever assignment has been given to us, that is being taken due care. And the reporting part should be very strong, whether it could be reporting through the main audit report, or long form audit report, or whatever the means of reporting the various irregularity, that should certainly go to the bankers so that they can understand that the auditors have justified their duty at law. The documentation part is very important. Whatever we are doing, that must be well documented and that must be kept with us so that in case of any need, that could be represented before any regulatory authority. So without taking much time, I'm thankful to both the speakers for their valued time, for the committee, and of course to the moderator. And I'm very thankful to Ajit Nath Tiwari ji also for his untiring effort to make every Wednesday enlightenment and enlightful session for the interest of the members. So thank you very much, Ajit ji, and over to Sagar ji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for your warm welcome. Now, we are not wasting much time. Now, let me allow you, please allow me to introduce our second session faculty, CA Jagjit Singh Jug, sir. He has a vast experience in field of audit, income tax, FEMA, GST, and company law. He is recently elected as the chairman of NICASA, also appointed as a member of regional council. He has also delivered multiple sessions on soft skills, accounting, income tax, professional ethics, outcome of budget, etc. Please again join me in welcoming our second eminent faculty to commence this session with their insightful deliberations on ethical issues pertaining to bank audit.
Thank you. Thank you very much, the CA Sagar Parmar ji, the moderator of this program. And definitely very respected senior, of course, the Central Council member, respected Central Council member, the chairman of this committee, CA Purushottam Khandelwal ji, and of course, my other senior brother, vice chairman of this committee, Gyanchand Mishra ji, and the secretary of this committee, CP committee, Ajit Nath Tiwari ji, my co-speaker, CA Bishan Shah ji, and again, the moderator of this program, CA Sagar Parmar ji, and all the respected senior and junior member, of course, those are listening to this webinar. And of course, at the backside, the technical team, which, the supporting this webinar, they are, of course, much required to make it very successful. Without the help of technical team, we cannot execute, we cannot, move forward in this webinar. So once again, thank you everyone. And thank you to the committee for giving me such a wonderful opportunity, invited as a speaker for this ethical issue in the bank audit. As just mentioned by Gyanchand Mishra ji, the vice chairman of this committee, so this topic and this area, even, right now I'm taking session from the bank. I'm, this on the way, actually, I'm doing this bank audit, and side by side, taking this session for the benefit of the member, for the benefit of the community, CA community, for all actually. What we have learned, rightly said by Gyanchand Mishra ji, so, the documentation part is very, very important. Recently, just 3-4 days back, when I received the folder, basically the report folder from the concerned bank, where I'm actually, seated for the bank audit purpose. I've gone through all the report, which is required for this bank audit. I've read each and every words they have mentioned in the drafting reports, which we have to sign, after completing or after concluding this bank audit. All the reports and the paragraph mentioned, added, inserted by the branch, of course, the head office, जिनके लिए मैं audit कर रहा हूँ, those are very, very important from their angle and very important to understand before signing anything. That is the responsibility of the practicing chartered accountant. That is the responsibility of the statutory auditor. Of course, we have to, see everything. And very important thing I would like to mention, before start any audit, must read, must understand the circular of the RBI. That is the very first requirement. The second thing is required, take a book, or we can download that checklist on the standard on auditing from the website of the AASB, Audit and Assurance Standard Board. We can download it, that PDF copy, and we can take a printout, and we should refer that book before to start any bank audit. Because, when you will not refer, when you will not read, when you will not understand the requirement or the responsibility of the auditor, which is required according to the audit standard, as mentioned in this, I would say, like the SA 200, right? SA 200 talks about the overall objective of the independent auditor, right? The independence of the auditor, like the integrity of the auditor, is very, very important. We all are aware about the 5 fundamental of the principle. The very first principle is called the integrity. So to follow that compliance, to go through, from this integrity, so that your report, should not be biased with any of the, like the threat. We have 5 threat also. So we have to understand the importance of the independence of the auditor. So that is why we have to understand the overall objective of the independent auditor. Because, when you will follow the draft what they have inserted, right? Second thing, SA 210, that talks about the audit engagement. That talks about the audit engagement. We have some other important elements must be mentioned in that audit engagement. I will discuss in detail, but we have only 1 hour, Sagarji, to discuss this. And definitely I will try to cover, not in detail, but I will try to cover the important part, so that I can revise, or I can give the input to all the viewer of this webinar, so that they should not refer the concerned book in detail, but when they will catch the important element which I'm going to mention through this webinar. So that is why SA 210 that talks about the audit engagement. Then we have another thing, very, very important, when we talk about the quality control of the audit of the financial statements. So that is mentioned in the SA 220. That is also important. When you're going to perform a quality audit for the bank, even for the company, right now we have to talk about the only bank, because we all are at the bank side. We have started the audit without referring the concern. Even we, some of us, maybe we have not referred the bank audit guidance note of ICI 2024. That is also important. Must read. that is for the benefit of the professional. That book, that guidance note, if you read that book will give you some help to save your skin from the government department, Without referring these type of books, if you are going to sign the document, you are going to sign the audit report of the bank stat audit or the central audit, I would say, maybe you will stuck somewhere. So that is why we have to refer these type of guidance, these type of, the refer book, issued by the ICI. Very important, very important. Then we have other thing. 230, essay 230. Just before a minute, Gyanchand Mishra ji, he was talking about the audit documentation. Very, very important area. 1 month back, I was just sitting with one of the member. He was talking, he got a call from the CBI and he went there. And CBI asked for the audit evidence, audit documentation, CBI called for the file, audit file. And he just mentioned in that hearing to the concerned officer of the CBI that, sir, already 15 years has gone. So where is that file? Even I don't know. That Mr. CBI, the officer of that CBI, he was asking for the documents, any document which can prove that you have, obey the rules and guidelines of the ICI or the banking rules. Then he find, something from the Google Gmail account, just mail, one single mail, which he has sent. He had sent to the concerned bank, and he found that mail, and he just took the printout and given to that CBI officer, and he had saved his skin from that CBI department. Just on the basis of one single mail. And just before Gyanchand Mishra ji, he was talking about the audit document, so we can understand, we have to understand the value of the audit documents. That is much required. Even before, I was just, preparing, Mr. Saga, I was just preparing for this, this topic, these type of, material which I'm carrying with me. So the number of supporting documents which I'm carrying before delivering just for a 1 minute, 1 hour webinar, I have to prepare for this 1 hour webinar. I have to study more than 10 hours. Because, the questions of the member can ask any question from any angle, but it should be related to the bank audit. So that is why I have to read everything just to give the positive and the impactful and the information to the, of course, required from the member side. Then another thing, Essay 240 talks about specifically for the auditor responsibility. When we study the objective of the audit responsibility, what is that? Let's see. So, I'm just referring the book that is open before me. The very important thing talks about is auditor responsibility. What is that auditor responsibility? To identify and assess the risk of the material misstatement in the financial statement due to fraud. We know that Caro 2020. Now we are for the bank audit. We are responsible for the bank audit. We will sign the document. Definitely we are responsible, equally responsible. But we have to understand the auditor responsibility. If there is any fraud in the bank, and you have cross-checked each and every item, you have the supporting evidence which you have taken from the bank just to save your skin from the department. And those documents are sufficient to prove that as a statutory auditor, being a statutory auditor of that bank, you have applied your professional skepticism, your professional behavior. You have the supporting documents in your audit file. You have every information when the other authority, of course, maybe, maybe the CBI, maybe the ED, maybe any other authority, maybe the RBI will ask any question in the future in relation to your audit, which you are, just doing. So you must have those documents in advance before signing that audit report. So that is why I'm saying, if there is any fraud, if there is any NPA account, which is not recoverable for the bank, and you have just, you don't apply your professional behavior. Maybe that is the case of negligence, clause 7 of the schedule second of the party. Most of the cases in the disciplinary committee comes from this and related to this. That was happened 2 years back. One of the concurrent auditor, was working in the branch and playing a role of a concurrent auditor. Sagarji, my voice is clear? Because I think some internet interruption. Yeah.
Yes, sir. There is some interruption, but sometimes it's okay.
Sometime maybe because I'm sitting in the industry area, maybe some some breaks are there. Internet
Yeah.
may bandwidth issues will be okay.
Yes.
So
Otherwise, 80-90% it's okay.
thank you. So in that judgment, what they have written, the gross negligence done by the chartered accountant, the young chartered accountant, after appointing as a concurrent auditor of that particular bank. What was the finding? The brief background, I'm just highlighting the important issues. I'm not going in detail because we have some limitation. Very important thing, the respondent was appointed as a concurrent auditor by the such bank. That case is related to Chennai branch, actually. And the complainant bank has alleged that the respondent, being concurrent auditor of the bank, had failed to report serious irregularities. So now we can understand when the auditor, whether being a concurrent auditor or the statutory auditor or as a central auditor or as a revenue auditor or as a stock auditor, not applying the professional mindset while this professional, while doing some the professional work and not applying the professional mindset, that is the purely case of the negligence clause 7 of schedule 2 party. And what they have find, that auditor actually not taken the confirmation from the concerned party before verifying that closing balance of that particular account. We know that, when we do this income tax, we receive a letter on behalf of the client, of course, under section 133(6). And that section talks about the confirmation from the concerned party. And concerned party just, verifying without cross-checking with the ledger. That can be a question of a fraud. Maybe some transactions are there, but you have not verified those transactions. So before verifying, before certifying, because being a statutory auditor, being a central auditor, we have to sign more than, I would say more than 50 certificates. 50 certificates. In how many days? Maybe 2 to 3 days. So what we are doing, if we are not studying, if we are not revising the things which are required, important for the bank audit, then we are actually doing gross negligence. Gross negligence that is not expected from the chartered accountant, that is not expected from the statutory auditor. I would not say it's a professional behavior. It's not a professional skepticism. So that is why I'm saying all the 5 fundamental principles are very, very important. But playing a role of a statutory auditor, that integrity is very important. Objectivity is also important. Confidentiality is also important. Professional behavior is also important. Professional skepticism and due care is also important. All the 5 fundamental principles are very, very important. Now, when you sign any document, how that document after signing give you an impact of a professional negligence, or will give you like the professional misconduct. We have 5 threats in our this code of ethics, but out of this 5 threats, 3 threats are very, very important in this bank audit. The number one is self-interest threat. If you are just you are playing your role as a statutory auditor in a bank, you are doing this bank audit, you are very well aware about this. Your family has taken one loan from that bank or from that branch, and you have given your acceptance that I'm eligible to appoint as a statutory auditor of this branch. And you are very well aware about that fact that your family has taken a loan from that bank that is more than 1 lakh, maybe against the FD. Maybe your family member having a credit card of that bank, and you have been appointed, another family member, you have been appointed as a statutory auditor of that bank. It means you have substances, you have some, self-interest in that bank in a financial term. And the other family member, who has been appointed as a statutory auditor in that bank and is signing the audit report of that bank, it means there is a financial mispresentation. That statement which you are going to sign, that does not give true and fair picture. That auditor who is going to sign that audit report, that is not an independent auditor. That having, some other responsibility, some benefit from that bank, substantial interest in that bank transaction, and after that is going to sign the audit report, and when he has signed, there is a purely case of a misconduct. So we have to understand, we have to keep in mind these type of transaction before signing, before doing any bank audit. Is that bank or my family member or my brother and sister, my father and mother, maybe they have taken some loan from that bank, we have to cross check. Not even the family member, I would say, Sagarji, I would say even your partner in your partnership firm, who's working as a partner in your partnership firm, maybe your partner is working a director solicitor in that particular bank, and the other partner is going to do the stat audit of that particular bank. When one of the partner working as a director solicitor in that particular bank, another partner is going to do the stat audit or the central auditor or the revenue auditor, how this, the audit report signed by that particular auditor, can we say that auditor is an independent auditor? We cannot say if there is an integrity. We cannot say there is a professional behavior. We cannot say there is a confidentiality. We cannot say that report is having the full requirement of the objectivity. So that is why I'm saying we have three threats are there. One is self-interest, which I have mentioned with the example. Second thing, that is self-review threat. We know that if we are working as a concurrent auditor of this particular bank, suppose any bank like SBI, suppose I'm working as a concurrent auditor of SBI. On the other side, I received a letter from the SBI, and SBI is looking to appoint me as a statutory auditor. Should I accept that? If I'm working as a concurrent auditor and I don't want to leave that seat of the concurrent auditor, then I'm not supposed to be appointed as a statutory auditor, because being a statutory auditor, I should not join two seats simultaneously. So first, I have to give a resignation from the seat of concurrent auditor if I want to join the stat auditor seat, or I have to continue as a concurrent auditor. Because, concurrent auditor, want to become a concurrent auditor, you will be counted as a management part. You will be counted as a managerial person in that particular bank, because you are cross-checking day-to-day transaction of that particular bank. If you're working as a revenue auditor, you are working with the management. If you're working as a stock auditor, you're working with the management. But if you want to become a stat auditor, you have to leave each and every seat. Maybe simultaneously you are enjoying as a revenue auditor, concurrent auditor, stat auditor, the stock auditor. You have to give resignation from all the three seats if you want to join as a stat auditor, because at the same same time, you cannot enjoy two seats for the management purpose and for the statutory purpose. Because if the department is looking, the audited report should be independent, then that report should not be biased, should be the quality of objectivity. And that is only possible when the stat auditor only having one seat as a stat auditor, not having the seat of other audit with the management. I think it is very much clear. Sagarji, am I right? So these are the things is very, very important. Third and the last and very effective threat, that is called intimidation threat. Intimidation threat when you are going to, when you are going to start the bank audit, not in the metro city, but maybe some other area, maybe some villages, somewhere the situation is not appropriate. Somewhere the situation, you cannot work in that branch after 5 o'clock because the local area is very dangerous. You are getting threat. You are receiving threat from the bank manager. You are receiving threat from the other factors, not directly from the bank, even indirectly from the other person. So that is called intimidation threat. The other person, they are stopping you, that you should not follow your ethical practice. They are stopping you. So that is called intimidation threat, when other person directly or indirectly stopping you to perform a professional duty, to perform an independent auditor, to perform the objectivity, to perform the professional skepticism, to perform the professional behavior, to perform the confidentiality, right? When they are stopping you, that is called intimidation threat. And after having that threat, if you are just compromising the audit report of that particular bank, it means that report does not give true and correct picture of that particular branch of the financial statement, right? So that is why 3 threats are very, very important in bank audit. I'm just repeating again for the knowledge of the members. That is, first one, the self-interest. The second one, the self-review threat. Third one is intimidation threat. Self-review threat we can understand on the other side. If we are giving consultancy to that particular branch, like in the field of ROC, like in the field of TDS, like in the field of GST, like in the field of some other ESIPF matters, right? So on the other side, we cannot work as a stat auditor of that particular bank. Otherwise, same information when we are getting from the bank and we are doing the stat audit, it will be called the self-interest threat, the self-review threat. That will give you a negative when we are actually compromising the things, right? So 3 things are very, very important. Now, for the betterment of this audit evidence, yeah, right, the auditor responsibility, yes, to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about the assessed risk of the material misstatement. I'm just checking, one of the account in that particular bank where I'm sitting actually. So no, I've just, I've found one very important this information when I started bank audit today in the morning. I've seen one ledger. The income shown by one of the customer of this bank, right? He has shown 30 lakhs. He has filed one income tax return of rupees 30 lakhs, right? His wife filed the income tax of return less than 2,50,000. Just file the income tax return without any income tax liability. So no, this income tax return, what that assessee has made through that income tax return, multiply the things. He has taken one loan in the private limited company where he is actually working as a director of the company on the basis of one return, 30 lakhs. He is running one partnership firm. He is there, one of the partner in that particular firm. He has taken another loan in that partnership firm after supporting that 30 lakh income tax return. Just 2 months back, he has purchased one luxury car of rupees 40 lakhs just with the help of that income tax return of 30 lakh rupees. So can we understand? Can we, cross-check? Can we understand the impact which he has given to that particular bank? And bank is not ready to accept the things. Bank is saying, sir, he is paying the installment timely, sir. There is no any bouncing of this installment. Everything we are getting from the private limited company, from the partnership firm, or from this individual loan. But what I am saying, only one person after having the income of rupees 30 lakhs, how he is managing the EMI statement, how he is managing, how he is paying the installment of different loan. It means he has something in the bank. That is why the bank is supporting. So we have to cross-check these type of things, whether the proper documents supported in that particular loan are sufficient, yes or no. Who will check? We have to check, sir. We have to check. So we have to apply our professional behavior. We have to apply our professional skepticism, due care, right? So we have to open not only eyes, we have to open our nose and ears to check each and everything. So now the next and important thing is, another is very important in the case of the consideration of different law, like joint audit of the financial statement. So that is on the page number 94. If you will refer the checklist of the audit standard, there is a one thing, objectivity. What that said? Just a second. Yes, where it is. Now first take this, another topic here. Audit evidence. We were talking about the audit evidence on the 154. Very important thing which I want to add for the benefit of the member. Yes, this is what. Audit evidence, if you refer SA 500, in that standard of audit, this audit standard, we have one table is there mentioned in that particular book. If you will refer that particular table, what they have mentioned, the sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Para 6, A10, that is called, has the auditor designed and performed the following audit procedure that are appropriate in the circumstances to obtain a sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So what we have to do, we have to plan an audit in such a manner so that each and every important entry of that particular branch of the bank can be identified. And in relation to that particular entry and transaction, we have to get that proper evidence to save our skin from the government department. So another thing is very important. The very first step is to analyze the risk assessment procedure. A risk assessment procedure means there is a risk. So we have to understand, we have to analyze that particular risk. Maybe that risk related to the financial risks. Maybe that will goes to the bank. That will give the impact to the financial statement of that particular bank. Maybe in the future, after 5 years, after 10 years, I will get a notice from the bank that you have, Mr. Singh, you have done this audit in such and such year. So can you answer this query now? Do you have any evidence? Do you have any supporting evidence? Do you want to say something? Do you have anything in your mind and reply against this question? So we have to be ready for that particular question which will be asked after 5 years, right? So we must have that documents, that evidence, that sufficient document that will save your skin. Number 2, test of control. When you have some doubt on any entry, we have to run one test. We have to cross-check each and everything without mentioning to the bank person what I'm going to do. I'm just cross-checking the things. I'm just testing the things. Okay, my assumptions, my doubt is correct, yes or no. So what we have to do, we have to run one test. Third, substantive procedure. Sometime we have to apply substantive procedure, right? Another thing mentioned in the para para A2. Has the auditor performed following procedure to obtain audit evidence? We have to follow this procedure, sir, to obtain the sufficient evidence from that particular auditee. Number one, inspection. When you got any doubt after checking the financial statement of that particular bank or any auditee, we have to investigate. But we all are, working as a statutory auditor. We are not an investigating team, we are not an investigator. But up to some extent, we have to apply our mind as an investigator. Because after doing so many audits, our mind is actually now multiplied. So even we can start the basic investigation. So that is we have to do at some level. First is inspection. Second thing is observation. Take the observation from the person. When you are asking some question to the bank manager related to any transaction, cross-check, observe the things. Look at the face of the branch manager, how he is reacting. Is he reacting normal? Or maybe he has something in his mind and his body language is different. Maybe he's ignoring that time when you were asking the question. So we have to observe the thing, being a statutory auditor, being a, of course, intellectual person, the body language of that person. So we have to catch what? We have to catch the observation of that particular person, how he's reacting, how he's answering. Is he ready to answer or ignoring something or asking someone to come and give the answer of your query? It means he's hiding something. So that observation will work. Third one, the confirmation. When the manager, when the assistant manager, when the other staff members, they are not ready to provide the related confirm information, it means you can ask that information from the concerned person. That is called the confirmation from the other person. Right? You can confirm from the other. When we are doing the company audit, what we are doing actually, we are asking for the confirmation from the vendors of that particular client, right? So that is the right of the auditor. The Institute of Chartered Accountant mentioned in this code of ethics that is the right of the auditor. Even the company Act 2013 give the rights to the auditor. Auditor can check each and every entry of that particular financial year, which is important and required to cross-check to give true and fair picture of the financial statement. So that is the right of the auditor. Always we don't have the responsibility, sir. We have the right also. So we have to use our right as per the Company Act 2013. So take the confirmation from the third party when the bank manager, assistant manager, and other staff, they are not ready to give you that. Then recalculation. When you are looking that software of the bank is not working properly, and not giving a proper interest calculation, and not charging a proper processing fees in the loan account, what we can do, what we should do, we have to recalculate. We have the laptops with us, so we can post that entry on the Excel sheet and just put some formula and just run that query, and we can identify, we can calculate, we can recalculate the interest on that particular amount as per the the interest of rate charged by the bank. So what we can see each and every document of the bank for this particular financial year in which we are going to start, or we have started audit, and we are going to give the audit report. So we have to recalculate. We can do that. Second last, re-performance. When you are not happy with your performance, when you are not happy with the performance of your assistant, when you are not happy with the performance of your partner who is supporting you in the bank audit, you can re-perform. You can ask him, I will recheck the things. I will recheck the files because still I'm not satisfied, because auditor satisfaction is much required. Otherwise, when the auditor is not mentally ready to sign the audit report, who will get the signature of that particular chartered accountant signature, right? When that person is not ready. So re-performance. Then last, analytical procedure. Sometimes, the calculations are very difficult. Sometimes the situations are very difficult. Sometimes your non-professional experience is very important to understand the situation. So these type of experience will give you the positive benefit while analytical procedure to understand to reach to the conclusion which is required before giving this audit report. Now, so this was I'm basically talking about this audit evidence SA 500. Now, dear friends, the next one is basically, evaluation of the misstatement identified during the audit. So this is mentioned in the SA 450, page number 146. I'm just referring these things, that is benefit for you. Even you should refer this book. This book is very, very important, and the efforts given by our respected central council member to making these type of help book actually for the benefit of the profession. So what they have mentioned in SA 450, I'm not mentioning complete essay, complete audit standard. I'm just highlighting the important things which I have underlined for the benefit of member. SA 450 talks about the evaluation of the misstatement identified during the audit. Is important. We have to analyze, we have to value we have to analyze the basically the facts which is misstated in the financial statement to understand the financial impact which actually the factors give the financial impact to that particular financial statement. Another thing on the reporting side. So we have to understand this impact of that facts which is misstated in the financial statement for the benefit of the stakeholder of that particular bank. Because the account holder, because the investors, because the depositor, they have invested some money. Investor have they invested money after buying the share of that particular bank. The depositor, the customer of that particular bank has deposited their money in that particular bank, right? To save the public interest, to save the interest of the public at large. That is the responsibility of the auditor to understand the evaluation of the misstatement identified during the audit, which will give a negative impact to the financial statement. We have to highlight these type of facts, these type of financial impact while finalizing this audit report, right? So what is mentioned in the objective of the the effect of the identified misstatement on the audit that I already mentioned, right? The same thing is mentioned in this. Second, the effect of the uncorrected misstatement, if any, on the financial statement. Means before concluding this bank audit, what we have to do, if you have found some entry which give a negative impact to the profitability of the bank, right? So what we have to do, we have to mention those transactions in the MOC, so that those transactions, when you will mention in the MOC, that is the duty of the central auditor to give that particular transaction which you have mentioned while finalizing this bank audit, branch audit, right? He will pick those entry and give the impact to the P&L account of that particular bank while consolidation of the main financial statements. After that branch audit financial statement, give a true and fair picture of that financial statement. So we can understand these things. Suppose the branch manager did not pass like the entry of rupees 10 lakh as a processing charges in that particular bank, in that particular account actually, where that entry should be passed. So that entry left by the branch manager or left by the whole complete branch. But that entry find out by one of the stat auditor. And we have to mention that 10 lakh rupees entry as a processing charges in the MOC. We have to qualify this report, right? So that the impact of 10 lakh rupees should be in the credit side. And the credit side should be passed by the central auditor of this particular bank, so that the positive impact on the income that will add the income, and obviously the profitability of the bank will go up. So what will be the impact obviously that impact the positive impact in the favor of stakeholder of that particular bank. So that is for the benefit of public at large. So this is the actually responsibility of the auditor. Auditor has to cross-check each and everything. If there is some entry which is related to expenses, that should be booked in the P&L account, and which is not booked, you have to mention in the MOC. If some of the entry which is related to the income, that is the income of the bank, but that is not passed, so we have to mention in the MOC, so that the central auditor will pass those entry which is required to be passed in the P&L account for the benefit of the stakeholder, for the proper reporting, what we call true and fair picture of the financial statement. That is the professional duty. So now come to the other things. So now I am left with this, the standard on this audit. Some other issues we have, Sagar, we have another 4 minutes, right? But I will take 10 to 15 minutes just for the benefit of the members. These are very, very important. Now come to the schedule. If we cross-check the schedule 1, I will not cover each and every clause of both the schedule, right? I will just cover the important clause of 2 schedules. Number 1, very, very important, which is, always left from the knowledge of this, chartered accountant. Clause 8 of schedule 1 part A. What is called? Is related to fail to communicate with the outgoing auditor. Right? When you are accepting any audit, right? So how you accept that audit? You give one certificate. And that certificate under section 141, eligibility, qualification, and disqualification of the auditor under the Company Act 2013. Right? What you write there, actually, for accepting that audit, you have to mention, you have to accept some conditions. Okay, yes, I'm qualified, my qualifications are there, I'm eligible for that, I'm not disqualified for that, I'm not working with the bank for such and such area, like that is why you are qualified, that is why you are eligible. So we have to give that. So what are the things important in under section 141 of the Company 2013? The persons shall not be eligible for appointed as the auditor of the bank or the company, of course. कब? कौन नहीं हो सकता? Who cannot be appointed as a auditor of the company? That is one, the body corporate, which is not still required. An officer or the employee of the company. So that is why only the practicing chartered accountant may be a proprietorship firm. That is why only the chartered accountant may be a partner of the partnership firm, not the director of the management consultancy service company cannot do any audit, right? Because that person don't have any right to do the attest function. Only the practicing chartered accountant, whether he is running proprietorship firm or partnership firm, he is eligible for the audit. He can be appointed as a statutory auditor. He can be appointed as a other auditor, right? But not the body corporate, not the officer of the company or employee of the company. Another thing, yeah, the person whose relative is a director or is employment of the company as a director. What I have mentioned earlier, if your partner is working as a, like the director simpliciter of the particular bank, then you are not supposed to be appointed as a statutory auditor of that particular bank. Otherwise, there is a conflict. There is a compromisation. Of course, compromise the objectivity, integrity, सब कुछ compromise हो जाएगा. So that is why this condition is much required. Any partner, any family member should not be on the seat of the management when you are going to appoint as a statutory auditor or any auditor or going any sign of the statutory audit report of that particular company or the bank. So as per section 141 of the Company 2013, your eligibility must be required. So what are the things which should not be or should not be required on the auditor side? So we have to recall the things. Now, come to this. the draft given by the branch audit manager, and obviously they have just mailed to the branch auditor. Okay, Mr. Auditor, please cross check the things before coming in the branch. You have to sign this declaration. What declaration says? Number one is declaration of secrecy, non-disqualification, and undertaking not to be subcontract audit work. So this declaration in one of the paragraph which I'm going to read, we also hereby declare that we are not subject to any of the disqualification specified in the section 141 of the company 2013 which I have just mentioned, and are hence qualified to act as an auditor. And we are actually qualified as an auditor, appointed as auditor. We also declare that neither our firm nor our associate firm having common partner. Common partner, why I'm saying common partner? Because one of the partner working in the management of that particular bank, that is not supposed to be, right? Have been associated with the internal audit. Suppose me and Sagar both are the partner in the firm, and Sagar is working in that particular bank as an internal auditor because Sagar having a branch outside Delhi. I'm from Delhi. So our firm has been appointed as a statutory auditor of the suppose State Bank of India, and Sagar is also working for the State Bank of India as an internal auditor. Then I should not accept that appointment from the SBI, because I have to mention to the SBI that one of my partner is actually working in the SBI as an internal auditor, as a concurrent auditor. So we are not supposed to be accept this appointment, both the seat actually, because one of the partner working as a concurrent auditor. So what I can do, either not accept, or I have to request to the Sagar, okay, Sagar, please resign from the the concurrent auditor seat so that our firm can be appointed as a stat auditor for that particular bank, right? So these type of declaration we have to given to the branch audit, being a branch auditor. Nor our associate firm having common partner have been associated with the internal auditor or any other assignment of the particular bank. Or any other assignment means, which I mentioned earlier, revenue audit, stock audit, right? So these type of audit, if you are actually doing, so you are not supposed to be appointed as a stat auditor. Last, we hereby undertake that the audit would be carried out by our own staff and that we would not be subcontract. So we are not supposed to subcontract the thing. Suppose Sagarji is managing his own firm, I'm running my own firm, and after getting a this number of stat audit from the bank, different bank, I'm just subletting the things or subcontracting the things to the Sagar ke Sagar bhai, ye SBI ka audit is branch ka aap kar lo, because that branches belong to your local area. I'm not supposed to do these type of things. So these type of declaration we have to submit to the branch manager, right? Being a eligible stat auditor. Last, we also hereby declare that the partner of the concern are not in the employment in any other firm. So we have to mention these type of things, right? And we also declare that we are full-time practicing chartered accountant. This means Schedule 1, where where the Schedule 1 says about the practicing chartered accountant, only the person eligible to sign or attest any document in the financial statement of any particular organization in the bank. So the person should be a practicing chartered accountant for the public at large, in the public service, right? So these type of declarations, maybe one another thing. Yes, declaration for known indebtedness. This is also required, which I mentioned at the starting of this webinar. When you have taken some loan from the bank, you're not supposed to be appointed as a stat auditor. Even your family member has taken loan, even your family member having a credit card, even your family member has taken loan against the FD, the amount of rupees 1 lakh or more, and the outstanding amount is more than the credit period, maybe the 90 din, more than 90 days. Then first, then my humble request to the present member, those who are listening this webinar, before accepting that assignment, must pay that amount to that particular bank and clear that outstanding. Because when you first accept the appointment, then you clear, this is a misconduct. So first you have to clear that outstanding amount that to that particular bank where you are going to be appointed as a stat auditor. So first clear that outstanding and then accept the appointment under section 141. Then you will be eligible. Then you will be eligible to eligible professional person under section 141 of the company 2013, being a stat auditor. So first you have to clear, because what they have mentioned in this declaration, no credit facility have been availed of by me or any of my partners, spouse, dependent children, and wholly or mainly dependent partners, brother, sister, or any of them, or any of the partner of the firm or company in which I am or they are partner, director from this particular bank. Maybe suppose, one of my family member, has taken a loan, education loan for his kids. But that family members are actually my family member, related party, right? When that family members comes under the AS 18 related, I would say, the family relation, where that actually person comes under this definition. So we have to pay that outstanding amount first, then we have to accept that assignment. So these type of, and at the base of this, the bottom of this letter, what they have mentioned, for the purpose of this declaration, the credit facility availed by company where the partner proprietor of the firm has been appointed as a non-executive director in the professional capacity, having no financial interest, shall not be included. It means where the partner of the firm, appointed as a director of that particular thing, but having no financial interest in that particular company or the bank, then you can be appointed as an auditor, otherwise not. And after that, what they have mentioned, if any information provided by you is actually incorrect, then the bank having a power, then the bank having a right to take action against you. Action against you as per the banking guidelines or as per the guidelines of the ICAI Act 1949. So professional misconduct can be there. Sagarji, I would just, take the last things. Now, coming to the schedule 1. So what I mentioned, the failed to communicate with the outgoing auditor. Now, the clause 9 talks about the non-compliance with the company 2013, right? If I'm talking about this charge, right? When you have seen the loan taken by one of the private limited company through this bank, and bank has given that limit to that particular bank against some assets. So that asset must be charged. So the compliance must be with the MCA regarding that assets of that particular company against which the company has taken the loan. So these type of charge, these type of company compliances, we have to cross check. Even when the bank is ready to pay a rupees 10 lakh or rupees 5 lakh to any particular person, the bank has to cross check the civil status of that particular person before giving any amount to that. If something is negative reported by the civil platform, so then the bank should not be given a single penny to that person as a loan. But after that, if they are giving, that is the negligence done by the bankers actually. And being an auditor, we have to report these type of transaction for the benefit of the public at large to give the true and fair picture of the financial statement. Now I'm talking about the schedule. Clause 2. Clause 2 of the second schedule, part 1, that talks about certify, submit report without examining the related records, which I mentioned at the starting of this, as mentioned, rightly said by Gyanchand Mishra sir, Vice Chairman of this committee, right? We have to call for the evidence. We have to call for the supporting documents before examining, before start to examine or before start to certify. We must have the document which support to that particular entry to cross check then you give the particular certificate against that entry. If you are not doing these type of things, it means there is a purely the case of gross negligence, clause 7 of this second schedule, part 1. Now, the clause 5 of the second schedule, part 1. Fail to disclose any material facts in the financial statement. You are a professional person. You are a statutory auditor of this company or this bank, right? So being a professional person, that is expected from your side, the professional skepticism. You have the professional mindset and you are not applying your professional mindset while doing this audit. Then you are failed to disclose any material transaction which is important to give the report or to give the qualification while completing this bank audit. So that is again the negligence and of course, professional skepticism, the lack of professional skepticism. Now, clause 6, fail to report a non-material misstatement means you have found something. You have found something, but after the discussion with the management, you are just ignoring that thing. Chhod de bhai isko, I will not mention anything in the report. So this is what? This will give the negative impact to the professional quality or the professional image. So we have to avoid these type of things, right? Last, which I have already covered, the clause 7, perform professional duty without the due diligence or gross negligence. Last, fail to invite when there is a simple procedure which we have to follow while auditing any financial statement, and you are not following that required procedure, it means again I would say you are lacking somewhere. You are not playing a role of a professional person. So these type of things we have to avoid, sir. We have to leave these type of things. So being a professional person, that is our major duty while auditing this audit, right? So most of the things which I have already covered, one of the important things which I have to take from this MCQ, FAQ. Here is one very important questions which I am going to take just for another 2 minutes, Sagarji. Then we will conclude this. One question regarding this, whether the concurrent auditor of the branch of a bank can undertake the assignment of LFAR of the same branch. Means the person asking, okay, I'm not a stat auditor of this particular branch. So can I sign only LFAR report of that particular branch? So what the the suggestion given by the Ethical Standard Board against this question, which I'm going to read, the concurrent auditor of the branch can undertake the assignment of LFAR only with respect to the branch which are not subject to stat auditor, which are not subject to statutory audit. Means, suppose one of the branch of the SBI are not supposed to do the stat audit for that particular branch. In that case, the stat audit is pending for that particular branch because that is not mandatory for that particular branch. In that case, if any chartered accountant want to do only LFAR report audit, so that is possible. When Sagar is already appointed as a stat auditor of that particular branch, then only Sagar will do the LFAR because he's already appointed as a stat auditor of that particular bank. Then he has to sign LFAR also. So I cannot be being a chartered accountant, Jagjeet Singh. I'm not supposed to be appointed as a audit for the LFAR report only. When there is only another chartered accountant is already appointed for the stat audit. So that person will sign the LFAR also. When there is no any stat audit, then any chartered accountant can be appointed as a LFAR audit purpose. That is clear. Another, and I think the second last question, whether a current asset auditor for a borrower account means the person who has taken loan from the bank, right? If you have certified something for that particular borrower that is deposited in that document deposited in that particular branch, right? From the borrower has taken the loan. Whether a current asset auditor for the borrower accounts of the bank can also be the stat auditor of the branch of the same bank. Understand what is the question? So now, what the ethical standard board has answered, there is no conflict. Please ध्यान से सुनेंगे. Need your attention. There is no conflict of interest where the current asset auditor of the borrower accounts of the branch of the bank is the statutory auditor of another branch of the bank. It means if I've signed something for the customer for that and that document submitted in that particular bank branch, then I can be appointed as a statutory auditor not for the same branch, but can be for the other branch. It means if I've signed something for the benefit of borrower and that document submitted in the A branch, then I'm not supposed to be appointed as a statutory auditor of the A branch because my signed document is already part and parcel of that audit. So that is why I can be appointed for the stat auditor for the another branch. Last. Very important. That is why I'm taking, for the benefit of members. Whether a member in practice can be a director in the cooperative bank, that I have already answered. Yes. Whether auditor of the bank can commence audit immediate after communication with the previous auditor and without waiting for a reasonable time period. So this has happened most of the time. Sir, I have communicated to the previous auditor yesterday night, sir. Sir, what should we wait for some time or should I start the audit because the last date is coming? What the ethical standard board has answered in this situation, the duty of the appointed statutory auditor. What is that? Please listen carefully. The incoming auditor may give a conditional acceptance. Conditional acceptance mean SA 210 engagement letter should be conditional. And what the condition we have to mention in that engagement letter? The incoming auditor may give a conditional acceptance of the appointment and commence the work which need to be attended to immediately after he has sent the communication to the previous auditor in accordance with the clause. So the person has sent the communication to the previous auditor and he wants to start the audit immediately because the last date is coming. So what he has to do? He has to give acceptance. What type of acceptance? Conditional acceptance. After mentioning what he has to mention in his acceptance letter, he should make clear to the client. Clear to the client means clear to the branch, clear to the company, clear to the partnership firm, clear to the proprietorship firm that his acceptance of the appointment is subject to professional objection. I'm repeating this important sentence. His acceptance of the appointment is subject to professional objection. Subject to professional objection. In the future, if any objection raised by the outgoing auditor, then I have to remove from this seat. I will not sign any document. I will not become the responsible person to complete this audit because my acceptance is conditional. Because at the last time you came to me, right? You come to me and you are asking to start the audit immediately because the last date is coming. So I have to give the conditional acceptance. If any negative opinion given by the outgoing auditor, then I will not continue as a start auditor. That is my prior conditions. So after giving this conditional acceptance, you can save your skin from the company, from the high court, from the different government department. So this is over from my side, Sagarji. But yes, a humble request to the present, of course, all the members, those are listening to this webinar. So my humble request, what we have earned the word CA, which we are writing before our name. That is not given by our family. That is not given by our grandfather. So that is what we have earned. We have earned after giving so many efforts. I have earned from the institute. So that CA word is very, very important. Our surname is actually comes after our name, but the CA actually comes as a prefix before our name. So my humble request to all the present members, please maintain the dignity. Please maintain the positive image of the institute. And as a regional council member, that is our responsibility. But you are just a member of the ICI, but that is the responsibility of all to maintain the positive image of the institute. So if you are going to sign any document, any audit report of any particular bank, not I would say the only bank, even you are going to sign, attest financial statement, any document in the future or tomorrow or day after tomorrow, anytime, please must read relevant guidance note, books. Those are very, very important to understand, to analyze the things, to find out the important factors, the facts, evidence. Must retain those documents in your audit file. That will save your skin and that will save the positive image of the institute. So this is from my side. So thank you very much, the CP committee, the chairman, Khandelwal sir, the vice chairman, Mishra ji, and of course the secretary, Ajit Nath ji, and हमारे moderator of this program, Sagar Parmar ji, and of course, technical team and all the present members, जिन्होंने बड़े ध्यान से सुना. So thank you very much and over to Sagar ji.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. बहुत ज़्यादा you have done tremendous job going in detail. Let us just see few questions. And first of all, one of the member mentioned that, sir, CBIL report is not very authentic every time while
CBIL
doing the
report.
audit. Yeah, CBIL report.
CBIL report. Sometimes, yes, of course, I can understand because sometimes, the data which is mentioned in the CBIL report, that is not appropriate. But, Sagar ji, when any bank is going to give a single penny to any person, to the customer of their bank, actually, so they have to take some like the income tax return. They have to call for the 6-month bank statement. Even
Yes.
sometimes, the customer of the bank and the bank is ready to give them rupees 10 lakh, 5 lakh without it. तो आपको जानता हूं. So, that is the negligence from the banker side. But being an
Yes.
auditor, that is our responsibility. We have to cross-check because we have to certify the document. Sometimes, yes, agree with the answer or the opinion given by the member regarding the CBIL report. That is not accurate. So that is why I'm saying we have to apply our professional mind. We have to cross-check the things. Ji.
Yes. And second is one LLP CA firm is having a company as a partner. Then can that particular LLP be appointed as an auditor of bank, like for a bank audit?
LLB.
Yeah.
Sir, it's very important to understand.
Hmm.
One question for all. Is any LLP can sign the audit report of any private limited company? If the answer is yes,
No.
no, right?
Yes. Section 25 of Chartered Accountant Act 1949.
Yeah. So if that LLP is not, permissible to attest any document, then the person who is not eligible to attest any document, how
Cannot
that
be appointed.
LLP firm can be appointed as a stat auditor?
Yes.
Very simple. Logic is there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So that's it, sir. Thank you very much for your entire energetic session. We
Welcome.
greatly appreciate your time and dedication. And as we bring our webinar on appeals under GST and ethical issues pertaining to bank audit to close, I would like to thank our esteemed speakers, attendees, chairman and vice chairman.
Sagarji, I have not shared my detail, but yes, if any member want my detail, my contact detail, they can ask, they can raise their query to the CP committee, and CP
Okay.
committee will provide you my contact number and contact detail, email ID, so that in future, if you have any question, you can ask me through the phone call or through the email to me.
Sure,
Thank
sure,
you,
sure,
Sagar.
sir.
Over to
Sure,
you.
yes. Yes. So I would like to thank our esteemed speakers, attendees, chairman and vice chairman of CP committee and ICI for their valuable contribution and active preparation. Today's discussion have shed light on crucial aspect of GST appeals and ethical consideration in bank audits, equipping us with enhanced knowledge and insights. Let us carry forward this learning and commitments to ethical practices in our profession. Thank you all for being part of this insightful webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.